Have you ever really wondered what goes on inside a narcissist's head when someone who genuinely loved them finally walks away? You see, it's not just about them losing a person. It's about a fundamental crack forming in their entire psychological world. So let's dive into that internal collapse that kicks off the second their main source of stability is gone.
And this quote right here, it really gets to the heart of it. Everything, and I mean everything, for a narcissist is built on this illusion of control. You know, this belief that they're the director of every scene, the conductor of every single relationship. But here's the thing, that illusion, it's way more fragile than they let on. And your presence was the main pillar holding the whole thing up.
All right, so let's get right into the immediate aftermath. The moment you leave, you're not just walking out of a room. You are basically detonating a bomb inside their carefully built reality. And the very first thing to go is their most prized possession, that illusion of control. Now, this belief, it's not just simple arrogance. It's actually a survival mechanism, and it's designed to protect a super fragile ego. It completely depends on your predictability, right? Your consistent forgiveness, your presence, your willingness to just absorb all their chaos. They really believe your love is just some resource they can tap into, ignore, and mess with whenever they feel like it. And that is the absolute key. Your leaving removes the emotional anchor they probably didn't even realize they were tied to. All of a sudden, that predictable supply of validation and stability just vanishes. They can't direct the emotional flow anymore. And for maybe the first time, they're forced to face the truth. They were never really in control to begin with. So this loss of control, it triggers a full-on internal collapse. And this isn't some big single event. No, it's more like a slow, really painful downward spiral as reality starts seeping through the cracks of that identity they built.
We can actually break this down into 4 distinct stages. It all starts with this emptiness they just can't fill. And that in turn exposes this deep-seated insecurity, which then leads to this frantic, broken cycle of seeking admiration. And finally, these really unfamiliar feelings of regret and confusion start to creep in.
So the very first thing they feel is this profound emotional void. This happens because, they don't have a stable sense of self. So their whole identity is built externally, from the outside in. When you leave, you take a huge piece of that structure with you. And yeah, they might try to fill it with new people, new praise, but it just doesn't work. Shallow validation feels like noise compared to the substance of genuine love. This emptiness just kind of hangs around in the quiet moments, a constant reminder of what they actually lost. And this void, well, it exposes their deepest, darkest fear, insecurity. Your genuine affection was like an emotional scaffolding holding up their fragile self-image. Without it, the whole structure starts to wobble and then collapse, forcing them to face the inadequacy they've been masking with arrogance their entire lives. They're suddenly face to face with this terrifying reality that, without someone on the outside telling them they're great, they feel like nothing. And this naturally leads to a completely unstable validation cycle. They get restless, agitated. Their attempts to get admiration from new sources become more and more frantic, even demanding, because new people just don't provide that instant, grounding validation that you did. So you'll see them start to swing wildly between this inflated confidence and just desperate neediness. It's a real mess. And then, finally, their signature arrogance and entitlement start to erode. It gets replaced by this really confusing mix of regret and confusion. But it doesn't feel like remorse, not at first. It actually feels like irritation, like something is just unresolved or unfinished. It's the slow, dawning awareness that they drove away something incredibly valuable because of their own actions. But look, this story isn't just about their collapse. The most important part of all of this is what happens to you. While they are spiraling down into chaos, your journey is one of profound healing and real empowerment. So, let's talk about your path. So, as they're wrestling with this internal world they can't control, a world of just complete and utter emotional chaos, you, on the other hand, start to experience the exact opposite. You begin to find a clarity that was totally impossible while you were tangled up in their world. And this is where your transformation really kicks off. That painful silence, it slowly starts to feel comforting. You can actually hear your own thoughts again without them being distorted. You start to recognize how much of yourself you sacrificed, and you begin to trust your own gut feelings again. And crucially, that empathy they used as a weapon against you, that becomes your greatest source of strength.
So you really have to remember this. Your departure was never, ever a sign of weakness. It was the ultimate act of reclaiming your own worth. It was the moment you finally and unequivocally chose yourself over their chaos.
Okay, so you've found your strength. That's amazing. Now, how do you protect it? This is where we get into the practical tools that are going to solidify your freedom and make sure you never fall back into that dynamic again.
This slide makes a really critical distinction between being nice and being virtuous. You see, niceness is often just appeasement. It's about avoiding conflict, which in the end just enables more dysfunction. Virtue, though, that's strength. That's having the courage to confront something for the sake of truth, even when it's really, really uncomfortable.
And that virtuous strength? It's expressed through boundaries. Boundary isn't some wall you build out of fear. It's a non-negotiable declaration of your own value. It's a commitment to protecting your energy, your emotions, your peace. And a narcissist will always see this as a direct challenge to their control.
Now, confrontation gets a bad rap, but we need to reframe it. It is not about aggression. It's about introducing objective truth into a relationship that was built on a complete illusion. When you state a boundary or you call out a manipulation, you are breaking the spell and you are reclaiming your voice.
And this right here, this is pretty much what you can expect. A narcissist rarely, if ever, responds to a boundary with respect or even negotiation. Their go-to response is retaliation. Anger, guilt-tripping, manipulation, the whole playbook. And remember, that retaliation isn't a sign that your boundary is wrong. It's proof that it's working, and that it's absolutely necessary. All right, let's head into our final section and see how this entire painful experience can actually be reframed. This isn't just a story about a bad chapter in your life. It's the catalyst for your most profound transformation.
So after everything we've talked about, let's just ask the final question. When you walked away from that relationship, what was actually lost? Was it the love you thought you had? The future you imagined?
No. The truth is, the only thing you truly risked losing was yourself. By walking away, you didn't lose the relationship. You saved the most important thing you will ever have. You chose clarity over chaos, strength over submission. And that, my friend, is never ever a loss.